Okay, so Jim McGuinness was doing an event for Now TV, that's Sky's streaming service that lets you buy a single day pass for Sky Sports, or a week long or a month long pass, which kind of gets around all that issue of like having to have the Sky box for any of these one-off matches. And at it yesterday, I got the chance to speak to him, and he brought up a pretty interesting point that hasn't got that much traction just yet. I know Kieran Cunningham has been banging the drum for this for the last week, 10 days or so, but it's going to come into very sharp relief now and over the next couple of weeks. It's that slight advantage that the Dubs have. Have a look. I want to make one final point and ask you about the situation where they're through now as Ulster champions and they've got to face Dublin in Croke Park, but this is going to be the group where Dublin have 2 home games in Croker. I mean, obviously everybody pretends that Dublin don't play their home games in Croker, but the truth is they do play their home games in Croker. Is this fair?
No, I don't think it is fair, and I think I think it's a great opportunity for the GAA to say, a lot of these things, a lot of the problems and a lot of the issues that were raised over the last number of years was because Dublin had an unfair advantage, if you like, and this is an opportunity now where if they say that Dublin play their home game and their neutral game in Croke Park, I mean, we were the last team to beat them in 2014 in the championship, so are we seriously trying to suggest that they're going to get beaten twice in the space of a couple of weeks in Croke Park? So it's almost inevitable that Dublin will progress from this group if they're given 2 home games in Croke Park. And I think the right thing to do would be to play the game in Donegal, to play the game in Dublin, and you've got the neutral venue, Breffni Park, at Clones. Can you imagine 40,000 people in Clones for Donegal against Dublin, and what that would bring, to the whole country? It would be a real spectacle. And Jim Gavin has done an incredible job with Dublin, and sometimes they don't get the credit they deserve because people will say they have the money behind them, they have the juggernaut, they have the population base and all. And I think for them to go to Clones or Breffni or somewhere like that and play in the Lion's Den, if you like, in Ulster, and maybe come out the other side of that and show their absolute true colours in terms of the champions that they are, I think that would be good for Dublin, for Dublin's legacy, and good for football.
Super bonus points for Jim for breaking out the juggernaut in the middle of that, but it's a fair point. Let's play Dublin against Donegal in Clones. It's the perfect scenario where you do have the Ulster champions who are Donegal, you do have Dublin. Clones, not quite a midpoint, but not far off it. Away we go.
It's a neutral venue. Croke Park isn't a neutral venue. It's as simple as that. Round 1 of the Super 8s is supposed to take place at a neutral venue. It is currently taking place in Croke Park on the weekend of July 14th, 15th. It's not as hard and fast a rule as the Kildare situation is, but it is still stated somewhere in the Super 8s that everybody will have the opportunity to play their first game at a neutral venue, get off on a level playing field, and that's not happening with Donegal. They've got to go down to the patch where they're the only team in the last 4 years to have beaten this great team. And I agree with Jim that it would be good for the Dubs' legacy as well. Like, we constantly go on about this, that it isn't the Dubs' fault, it is the GAA who are making these decisions. And when it comes to Dublin, I mean, they probably want the opportunity for Donegal not to build up some sort of resistance to what they bring to Croke Park themselves. I mean, Dublin build that up during the Leinster Championship. They play there like 2 or 3 times in the provincial championships, and that's it. Donegal haven't played there at all this year. So from a Dublin point of view, they probably want Donegal not to get anywhere near Croke Park, because that way when they get to a semi-final, they'll be like, right, we've got to figure this whole new environment out. It is the only hope that we have of Dublin not finishing top of this Super 8 group, you suspect, as if this game isn't in Croke Park. But that's kind of irrelevant.
Well, it's not. It actually isn't irrelevant, because it's kind of guaranteed that Dublin will finish top of the group now, and everybody's decided, yeah, that's grand, you're straight through to the All-Ireland semi-final, because you've got 2 home games, and home games lead to victories more often than any other characteristic or any other pre-match characteristic. It's a home game leads to the home side winning more often than not, particularly when your team is good as Dublin. So it is unfair. The system is rigged in favour of Dublin, and it doesn't need to be, and there's still plenty of time to, because those tickets aren't on sale. That wouldn't involve a massive redistribution of tickets or money back to people. That's going to be a bit of an issue for the weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, small.
The
transaction of the season tickets is probably coming out in the next hour or two, maybe. I think it's usually a Wednesday morning that I find with my season ticket anyway, that the money just gets taken out of your account. So that's probably going to happen on an automated basis from seasontickets.ie.
Is it today, yeah?
Today, it's Wednesday's a day. So
all right, if there's any Mayo fans watching, tell us, has the money gone out from your account for the game in Croker, and was it the full 25 quid? Or have they just taken 15 and said, OK, we haven't told you yet, but the game's in Portlaoise /Tullamore Newbridge. Imagine if the game was at Newbridge. The game's not going to be in Newbridge, according to Nicky Brennan, who last night was speaking on Off the Ball. He was interviewed by Joe on the news round. Really interesting interview, just kind of saying, look, Kildare have made their point. They need to get on with it. And if they don't get on with it, there's going to be some repercussions.
We are looking at the ultimate embarrassment here, whereby the GAA break their own rule and Kildare will be kicked out of the championship. And Jack Anderson, a lawyer, was on the show this morning as well, professor of sports law at Melbourne. He reckons, looking at the rule book, that Kildare GAA even have an excellent case legally and they could hold up the whole championship. Like, the reality is this thing needs to be sorted very, very quickly. The GAA can't have the spectacle of Kildare at St Conleth's Park on Saturday and Mayo turning up at Croke Park. Do you think it'll come to that? Is there a chance it might actually come to that?
It may. I don't accept what you've just said, that the GAA have broken rules. I don't accept that from my own position as of now, although I haven't admittedly studied the rule book in any great detail, but I don't believe that's the case. But obviously, as of now, both parties, if I could use that term, have taken completely different views, and they will be in potentially different venues. I mean, I think Kildare have to assess that, because if Kildare do not turn up in Croke Park, I don't know what other penalties might very well be landed on top of Kildare. I'm not talking about anything to do with this year's championship or anything like that. I don't know what, because we're in new territory now. But most definitely, if Kildare don't turn up, the blind eye can't be turned to it, because otherwise teams may refuse to turn up for matches in the future and get away. So there will be some repercussions for Kildare. What that will be, I just don't know.
Yeah, but then you'd have to tell me, what have Kildare done wrong?
Kildare have not fulfilled their fixture. Kildare have not fulfilled their fixture. This is an official body that has the authority of the GAA Central Council. It has sole authority of the GAA Central Council to make fixtures on behalf of the association. They have decreed, notwithstanding the issues that some of you guys have raised, which are fair enough, they have decreed that the game will be played in Croke Park. Right or wrong, that is an official fixture, and they are not. If they don't turn up, they're not fulfilling an official fixture, and the implications of that, then they have to understand there will be implications for that. What they will be, I just don't know.
Wow. I mean, it's not a threat so much as a fact. There are repercussions if you don't fulfil the fixture, like getting fecked out of next year's championship or having no more home games for a couple of seasons. That'd be a handy solution, wouldn't it? While the ground gets redeveloped, you're banned from having home games anyway. I don't know. That type of language is fairly consistent with the language that has been coming from Croke Park in the only official comments that have been coming from Croke Park throughout this process. You're going to get fecked out of the championship if you don't show up. There will be repercussions if you don't show up, as opposed to, we're all GAA people here. We understand that you've got a case, and in fact, you've got a really strong case. What can we do to try and back everybody down from this? How can we all move forward together as a collective with the aim of spreading love and joy for our games? What can we do? No. You don't show up, I'm throwing you out. Which of these approaches is going to make you go, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine, yeah, no problem, I'll do what I'm told? Or yeah, okay, fair enough, we do have a problem, and maybe we were a bit bolshy at the start, but like, you can understand.
Well, you see, Kildare GAA is a mere minion in the eyes of the GAA, I presume. As in, you have to be spoken down to because you are an inferior.
But we haven't won anything.
Exactly. You know, you are going to get spoken down to because of that reason, because of other reasons, and because your puny little ground only holds 9,000 tiny little people. That's why we can talk down to you at the GAA. It seems like they're walking around with this big, massive rubber stamp, and listening to Nicky Brennan there, it's like it's an official fixture, and it's like, how did it become official when you've broken your own rules? Because of the magic GAA rubber stamp, that's why.
Rubber stamp / jackboot. It's like, that's what it is. Kieran Cunningham says, Nicky Brennan also said last night that there's a possibility some counties could lose home advantage in the Super 8s as well. This could get very messy. I don't think anybody's going to lose, like, Super 8 fixtures as it stands with the teams we're going through. Fermanagh should be able to host it. Roscommon should be able to host anybody.
Well, the thing is, probably Roscommon might be the only winner from that round.
But even if they all won, like, so say Laois and Cork and Fermanagh and Roscommon all came through, right? Which obviously the GAA really don't want, because that'll be no Tyrone and no Mayo. And
yeah, what the most sensational possible permutation would be if Kildare beat Mayo at the weekend, if this game does take place, and Kildare subsequently draw Cork and beat them. That would mean Dublin will be travelling to St Conleth's Park for a Super 8 fixture.
No, they wouldn't.
No, they wouldn't, is correct.
That's in Croker, and we've got 60,000 people at it.
So 3 games in Croke Park for the Dubs.
I mean, yeah. Oh, I can't talk because my money is bulging into my... I got distracted away. I'm choking on the money. Here is... so we go back. So Maura Trassa was down in Kildare yesterday because there was supposed to be a press conference at 5 o'clock, and when the press conference at 5 o'clock was cancelled, all sorts of rumours began to sweep the countryside that a deal was being done in the back rooms, and that somehow this game was going to be fixed for Portlaoise or Tullamore. That was the talk yesterday afternoon when the thing was cancelled at 5 o'clock. So Maura Trassa went out anyway to kind of take a bit of the temperature out there and spoke with the former Kildare footballer Dermot Riley about the county standoff with the GAA.
Have you ever become aware of any health and safety issues when it comes to Newbridge? For example, if games are being planned, do people say, oh, we might need to work on this, or we need to flag that, or any issues stand out?
Well, I first went to matches in Newbridge back in 1963. I've had the privilege of watching Kildare play there many, many times. I've had the privilege of being there when we had a full house, and I'm not aware of one single incident of there ever having been a problem in Newbridge. And the suggestion that somehow or other people would turn up in Newbridge and might be antagonistic towards each other out in the street because they don't have a ticket, quite frankly, that's a nonsense. It is not within the culture of the GAA. It is not within the culture of Kildare supporters, nor indeed of Mayo supporters. So that's really a red herring. And if our ground is only capable of holding 1,000 people, just to exaggerate it out of all proportion, so be it. The home advantage is more important to us, given that we're entitled to it.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to work out how you do home advantage in these circumstances. You set a set amount of tickets aside for the season ticket holders, and you divide them in the ratio of the number of season ticket holders there are. And some season ticket holders don't get a ticket for this game because you're not guaranteed a ticket for every game, right? There's just a capacity issue here. And then a set number of tickets, the majority go to the home team because it's a home game. That's the whole point of having a home game. And then the rest goes to if there's any other season ticket holders that didn't get one, you give them to them first, and then you put them on general release. Like, there's a template that you can have that's off the shelf to have these games in any ground in the country. And Bournemouth manage it with like a very small capacity in the Premier League when they have Manchester United coming, or other Liverpool with massive away followings. Easily done if cool heads and clear minds decided that they wanted this to happen.
But it's too late now. It is too late for cool heads rather, and clear minds to prevail. It's just like the clock is ticking. It is ticking rapidly until the point where all those Mayo fans are going to have season tickets in their account. Like, this needed to be sorted out straight away on Monday morning. And
you can hit pause on that transaction. There's a computer, there's a big button. You can just go pause, hit the pause. Go on.
But even for people making arrangements for the weekend, I know Newbridge, Dublin, much of a muchness, they're very fortunate that that's the situation. Otherwise, this could be a much bigger shitstorm than it already is.
Yeah, if this was Waterford, say.
Yeah.
Poor Waterford.
But like, I don't know. It just. I got the stench of yesterday from Ned Quinn on the show that there was still an element of everything's going to be fine.
Yeah, you're going to back down. You're going to back down.
That's why I feel that things have taken so long. It is, to a certain extent, an air of arrogance.
OTBAM is live this morning with Screwfix.ie, championing the trade with a choice of over 20,000 quality trade products. The newspaper headlines very briefly before we get to John Duggan. Kildare GAA have the law on their side. Yes, they do. And this is Professor Jack Anderson's story speaking to us yesterday. And his tweets, which go into great detail about it. That story is up on offtheball.com. Paddy McBrearty, that season is over. We'll talk with Jim McGuinness about the loss of McBrearty and the knock-on impact that it has. And also the news that Felipe Contepomi is back at Leinster. He was speaking with Joe last night on Off the Ball as well. If you want to see that, check out youtube.com/offtheball. GAA's in crisis, championship facing chaos if Kildare are ejected, because they could go the legal route and blow the whole championship up, which obviously isn't going to happen. Some form of a deal will be done. You're my hero. No, not Messi. It's United's Rojo who rescues Argentina. I mean, it was also Messi who kind of rescued them. There's that picture, Rojo, with the finish. Contepomi will add huge amount to Leinster setup. Insists Cullen is the lead story on the back of the Indo. Some good stuff from Dan McDonnell in the Indo about the fact that most of the English team have played lower league football. We'll talk to Kev about that a little bit later on. Colin Keys and Will Slattery have the deadlock remains over rejection of Newbridge. Brawley weighing in. saying that the Director General needs to do something about it. If he was the Director General, he would have done something about it. The back page of the Racing Post, helping hand. Danes claim crucial point to seal place in the last 16. It would have been us if only we were any good at football and had Christian Eriksen. That's the narrative that you've been hearing if you were watching any of the Irish coverage of the games. And the Irish Times, Lviv and Germany looking for more improvement. This is obviously victory over South Korea by 2 goals will guarantee a place in the last 16 for Germany today. Ticket sales continuing for the Kildare game at Croke Park, but Lily White's boss O'Neill still claims it's Newbridge or nowhere for big Mayo clash, he said on KFM yesterday. He doubled down, fair play to him. Cian is not for moving, and yeah, why should he be?
On the back page of the Herald this morning, it's Jim McGuinness.
Irish News, sorry, one last one. Irish News, we'll get the PDF for this. This is Paddy McBrearty's story. McBrearty cruciate injury devastating for Donegal. Loss of top marksman could derail Tyrconnell All-Ireland ambitions, says McGee.
Yeah. Speaking of Tyrconnell, Jim McGuinness saying, do right thing. McGuinness calls on Dubs to play a home croker tie in neutral venue. That's Conor McKeown speaking to Jim as well yesterday on the back page of the Herald. On the back page of the Mirror, it's chaos. Legal challenge by Kildare over tie switch could lead to backlog. And ex-DRA chairman warns Croke Park the Lilies have a good case. That's Jack Anderson quoted as well here on the back page of the Mirror. In the Star then, it's different class. Rojo stunner fires Argentina through while Kildare explored DRA route. And Paddy lost a huge blow. That's Jim McGuinness on Paddy McBrearty speaking to Carl O'Kane in the Irish Daily Star. The Sun then, it's YESSI. Incredible late Rojo winner keeps Leo dream alive as Nigeria get beaten 2-1 by Argentina. The Potters, McLean up. James McLean is closing in on a £5 million move to Stoke City. He didn't fly out with the rest of the squad for West Brom's pre-season training camp in Portugal after the international duty, so he's expecting a move down to the Championship with Stoke City. And then a couple of the UK back pages. Salvation reads the back page of The Guardian. Rojo's late volley saves Argentina. Now they face France. Nigeria knocked out. And the front page of the Daily Telegraph sports section is Late Show saves Messi. Manchester United reserve Rojo strikes at the death to keep Argentina in the World Cup.
Yeah, speaking of Argentina, Maradona has issued a statement on Instagram after it was reported that he'd been taken to hospital. I want to tell everybody I'm fine, that I have not, neither was I interned. In the halftime of the game against Nigeria, my neck hurt a little. I suffered a decompensation. I was checked by a doctor who recommended me to go home before the second half, but I wanted to stay because we were risking it all. How could I leave? I sent a kiss to everyone, except Sampaoli. Thanks for the support. He didn't say except for Sampaoli.